What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first official episode of the Leave Your Ego at the Door podcast.
I like it.
How do you feel about that?
That's actually a good name.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It is a good name. You know, we've had a hard time coming up with a name because it seems that everything that you think of already exists.
This name already exists too.
It already exists, but the issue is, well, it's not an issue. The reality is everybody's already done something that you are hoping to do with a name that you're hoping to do. And we were just delaying it. But we're putting the nail in the coffin today that this is the name because we need to move forward. We've been working on the podcast now for probably 2 months.
Right.
Recording episodes, getting everything dialed in. And sometimes you just need to move forward. And I think that's a great,
We just need to leave our ego at the door.
yeah, just go. Because, I mean, that stops people from doing a lot of things in life, I think.
Yeah.
Like the idea process and just thinking. And then there's a difference between people who just think about shit and people who execute on it.
Right.
Today we're practicing executing.
We're practicing executing. We're practicing leaving our ego at the door. Because if you note, we cared so much about this name that we're delaying it because we would care about what other people think about the name. So now we decided, let's leave our ego at the door and just choose a name.
Yep.
And then just record. And then because ultimately you guys are going to want to tune in because of what we're talking about, not because of the title of the podcast. Granted, we might get some people from the title. Welcome. But now, sit in and enjoy.
So Lalo and I decided to start this project to help us both as individuals, as fathers, as business owners, to just chat once a week about things that are going on with ourselves, whether it be family life, business stuff, entrepreneurship, current events, whatever it might be. So I think that's a good start for the premise of the podcast. I mean, what do you want to share anything else on like what people might be able to expect when they're listening in?
Yeah, I think when at whatever age that you're at, even though you guys don't know who we are, we're not figures from other industries. It's not like we're just two dudes that want to start doing this. So we're hoping that through conversation and us, expressing our feelings and talking about the stuff that we're going through, that you guys might just be driving, might be working out, or you might be listening, at work or whatever. And then there might be things that you could take away from this because it's not very often that people that want to progress in life get a chance to hear other people that are doing the same thing, because typically people that are motivated and driven like that, you're kind of like a lone wolf, right?
Yeah.
And then we're lucky enough to have run into each other because of our businesses, right?
Yeah.
And now we're like, hey, why don't we team up and do something together?
Yeah. So let's go back, right? So we met 10 years ago?
We met in 2012.
2012, so 12 years ago. Yeah, I was just starting my photography journey, and Lalo was doing his music stuff.
Yeah.
He was in a band, and we connected. I love taking photos, and that's how my journey into everything that I do today started, was buying a camera off Craigslist, going to music. I was very into music, but I also wanted to get into photography, so I said, okay, maybe I'll just show up at these concerts of these local bands and just take pictures. That's how we connected. We ended up doing band promotional pictures. And then, a few years went by and that kind of fizzled out. Really for both of us, I think your music kind of took the back shelf to other things you were doing. And for me, I kind of let photography, I just kind of put it on the back burner because I needed money.
Yeah,
and I didn't know how to make money doing that yet, right? So I just went into a job, regular job, and always did photography on the side. But fast forward to now, 12 years later, Lalo runs and operates a successful detailing and ceramic coating business here in Palm Beach County. And I think I took a long time in my life to realize that there's certain things that you just need to pay people for to get speed, to free up your other time to do what you're really good at and what you're passionate about, right? So I got to the point where I was like, hey, I want to get my car detailed weekly. I started reaching out to random people. Lalo is super busy. He couldn't get me on the schedule. So I hired Washay to come do my car. They did an absolutely horrible job, horrendous. Just slathered tire shine all over the entire car.
Yeah.
Right? And the day, listen, this is a God thing, bro. For real, this is a God thing. Do you agree?
Yeah.
The day that they were at my house cleaning the car and pulling away, Lalo drives by. You cannot make this shit up. He drives by. He says, Andrew, you couldn't wait for me, could you? And I said, bro, You were like 2-3 weeks out. I needed my car washed, you know? But that just goes to show you that like God has a plan,
Dude,
you know?
God's plan is impeccable every single time, even though it's not your timing.
Yeah.
As much as you'd want it to be, because you want to get that shit done. And then,
Yeah.
you know, we find out just like like those people that died in Pompeii for the volcano. I know that's going so super morbid. Just, you know, brace yourselves for that kind of bullshit. You know how like the imprint of their shadow is on the walls.
Yeah.
I opened this door after this guy was done washing their car. And not to bash the guy, because he probably, like, I think Washay is like Uber, where you could be a detailer. You could just jump on there and, like, take the food. If the food's not good, it's not
Yeah,
really
and
your fault. I mean, it is his fault.
they
'cause
take
he
the
did it.
30% and they're left,
Right.
the guys who actually do the work are left with pennies.
Right. So maybe that was his, but, like, I remember specifically you had one of those metal bottles in the door panel, like in your cup holder. And it looks like he sprayed whatever he sprayed to make your interior shiny, which your interior should never be shiny. And he sprayed over the bottle, because if you took the bottle out, the imprint of the bottle
Yeah.
was still there.
Like, bro, you couldn't take 3 seconds to move the bottle, you know?
Your bottle's got leather conditioner all
So
over it. Yeah.
then after that, I actually you came through like a week or two later to clean the car, right? And that's when I was like, okay, hey, bro, you know, like I've been doing this video thing for a while. Do you remember what month that was?
I think that might have been in
Was it in January?
no, dude. I think it was
Before that?
like right before Christmas.
Okay, so I was still at my job full time, doing the video stuff on the side, and I was like, hey, I know I wasn't expecting anything in return. I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, pay you to come do my car. I just want to make a video for you, you know?
Yeah.
And like I love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And as I'm filming the video, we start talking, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking pictures, filming video. You and your guy are doing your thing with the car. We start talking. That's when we peeled back the layer of like what was really going on with our lives and what we were into and what we were doing. As people, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, I know for myself, I'm always looking for that edge. Anything in my life that I could do that's going to give me an edge against someone else, I want, you know? So we started talking about coaching, business coaching, meditation, self-development. All this stuff started coming out. And we were like, dude, wait, you're doing this? I'm doing this. Wait, and like, we found out that we were on the same path,
That's
right?
awesome.
On the same journey together.
Yeah.
And that's what led us to starting this, which I think was really cool because it's just like, it's just one thing led to the next.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, just a couple background things too is
Mm-hmm.
not only that, you know, the power of networking and just like putting great minds together, like there's a potential opportunity for me from us just connecting.
Yeah.
And then through naturally us being friends and I knowing that you do amazing work, now I've connected you with someone that could potentially change a lot of things for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the same thing with you. Like you have neighbors here, you're going to introduce me to people that you know and everything. And that's kind of like why we're here in general is I saw in you what I saw in myself when we started talking about specifics and meditation and just wanting to be better. And I didn't want to just let that be like, that's cool. There's another guy doing things just like me. I'm like, no, dude, let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Like in this, because I used to know you when things like before we both had like really a direction in our lives where we wanted to go, which was in our 20s. And I think inevitably, if you're in your 20s, you think you have an idea of what you want to do. Or you might be like, just like he was just doing photography here and there. I was doing music here and there, but you weren't fully immersed in it because you didn't really maybe have somebody telling you that, hey, if you go full, like if you bet the house on yourself in this thing that you like doing, that's going to pay off way more than anything you're about to waste your time doing in your 20s. And it's not a waste of time.
Yeah.
It all comes back full circle, like you said. God's plan. It's impeccable timing. So whenever it happens, even if it happens for you in your 50s, that's when it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But either way, I saw that, and I'm like, it's kind of coming back around because we met when we weren't like this, and then we met again when we're like this, and we both have families, we both have wives, we both have kids. We're both like right at that age where it's like we're men, like we're grown
God
up.
gives it to you when you're ready to receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And full transparency, him and I don't really know each other that well. So we're also getting to know each other through this podcast, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
That was one of my things when I pitched this idea to you. I was like, why don't we just get to know each other on camera? Like,
Yep.
what if we end up hating each other or loving each other? Let's find out. Either way, we're on the same journey.
Yeah. So let's start there. Let's talk a little bit, 5 minutes each
Sure.
tops about just like our backgrounds,
Yeah.
where we come from, maybe, how we grew up and where we're at today.
Okay.
You want to start?
Sure. When I'm saying this, should I be looking at the camera or should I be looking at you?
It's up to you. If you want to talk to our viewers, you talk to our viewers, if you want to talk to me, talk to me.
Well, my name is Lalo Rodriguez. I'm 34 years old. I am a husband. I am a father of 2 beautiful girls, and we got another kid on the way. Hoping it's a boy. It's okay if it's a girl. I love cats. I love dogs. I love everybody. I run and operate a detailing business and specialize in ceramic coatings. My background is I started off at School of the Arts, performing and doing film acting. Then I went into music for a while, doing vocals for a couple hardcore bands, and I really, really fell in love with music. I play guitar. I started a music venue back in the day, and that just kind of fell off to the side. Took on some just run-of-the-mill jobs that I wasn't happy at. I was getting fat. I was depressed. I was married to the wrong person. She's a good person, but it was just not the right person for me. And then now I have a sense of clarity, a sense of direction in my life where it felt like I just woke up. And then I started going for the things that I want, that make me happy, as opposed to just kind of following the mold of what we're supposed to be doing. I was like, you know what? Screw that. Like, I don't need to have a safe and secure job with benefits. Like, what if I want to do this other thing? And that's what I did. I started a detailing business, which, to also tie it in, my dad had a detailing business back in 2003. He didn't speak English. We were fresh off the boat at this point, and it was called Lalo's Mobile Car Wash. And it didn't last very long, but sometimes I wonder if maybe that was like what I'm doing now has something to do with that. Like, what if my dad wasn't able to do it, and for some reason, subconsciously, I started this business to pick it up. To pick up where he left off.
Could be.
And
It forged you and it gave you what you needed.
it gave me what I needed. I love what I do. I love making cars look good. Is it my passion? It's one of my passions, but I know in my heart of hearts that there's going to be so many different stages of my life where I'm pursuing different things. Podcasting being one of them. And I'm going to be very good at it.
Yeah, you are. You already are good at it.
I'm trying really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a learning process for sure. The conversations have to be tactful and precise, because I think that there's so much information out there and everyone has squirrel brain that they're not really built to pay attention for a long period of time. But I think that when you provide value and, you share your experiences that could help other people, then rightfully so. Which you talked about the mold, and that's like a big part of my childhood and my, like, I would say maybe my adolescent and like teen years was doing what everyone else told me to do.
Right.
That's just kind of how I grew up, I did not want to go to college. I wanted to take the path of least resistance and stay home and go to community college and just figure things out. Like that's what I wanted to do. But my parents kind of shoved me in a direction that was like, you're going to go here, you're going to do this. And it was a disaster. It was the beginning of, and I don't hold resentment against my parents did the best they could with what they had, and they just wanted a life for me that was better than what they had. So I respect them for that. But at the same token, I was doing things that I wasn't ready for. I was 17 when I went to school, and I had no sense of what to do with independence, and I just destroyed myself. And that could have happened if I was home at community college too, maybe, who knows. Yeah. But being away from my family and being on my own, I was just like, I was a shell of a person, and I just whatever anyone else was doing, I was doing it too. Drinking, drugs, whatever it was, I was out there doing it with them. And I had no backbone to say, like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not who I am. I had no idea who I was. So I think for me, my life truly started and began when I moved to Florida in 2011, right? I was 25, 24, somewhere in my early 20s, right? That's when I feel like my life truly started. I was also independent at that time came down here with nobody, no family or anything like that, no job, no money, just a couple weeks paid for in rent, and the mindset of I just had to figure it out of myself. But I had other experiences in the bag that kind of helped me make better decisions, right? Instead of being a 17-year-old kid who was just willy-nilly out there. Right. So I feel like my life truly began then. And from that point, I just got a job doing what I knew how to do, which was working in restaurants, and I figured it out. And from there, I got like a jobby job, I call it, like a real job, like with a badge and a time clock and benefits and PTO. And that gave me the stability that I needed to like figure things out and make other decisions. Throughout working at that first job, that's when I bought my first camera off of Craigslist and started to realize, after connecting with people like you and other people in like the music industry and random things, that like I can make money doing that, right? And fast forward now to 10 years later, being able to be the sole provider for my family, because my wife just had surgery. She was out of work for a while. So for me, realizing that I can make money doing video work and photo work, which is what I'm super excited about. But not only that,
good at it.
Yeah, thank you. But not only that, provide for my entire family, 2 kids in school, my wife at home not working, recovering from surgery. So it was like, and all that was it within the first 6 months of me starting and officially going into the business full time.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, and like I'm beating myself up this week because like, money's tight, and like we're like Jen just started working again, and like we're starting to get the ball rolling again. But like, I'm in my head, I'm like beating myself up because I don't have this amount of money in the bank, or I'm not doing this. I should be doing this. I should be doing more, blah, blah, blah. But like the reality is that I went all in on myself, in the first month of this year in 2024. And like, it's been an incredible journey and ride. And like every month just keeps getting better. But I choose to focus on the one thing that is not the best, So I think that's an important shift for people to realize and like really internalize, is that it's so easy to focus on what you don't have.
The lack. Yeah. Dude, you hit so many points that like make me really happy for you when you're saying that like you're the sole provider. Not saying that your wife isn't helping. Yeah. She helps tremendously. But like when you sit back and you bet on yourself, you went all in on yourself, which is another name we should consider, Go All In on Yourself podcast. Yeah. When you do that, when you go all in on yourself, when you decide that you're putting all the chips, you're betting the house on yourself, that's when your life changes. That is you trusting that. I think that's truly you trusting God. I'm not saying that yourself is God, but when you just leave, you just say, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm betting the fucking house on myself. Dude, you said 6 months is 6 months in, and your life has changed, right? You've probably making more money than you ever have before.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Same thing happened to me, and that's all it took.
Yeah.
You just take a chance on yourself, and your life will change dramatically. It's scary. You don't know how the next paycheck is going to come. It comes. You don't know how the next client's going to come. That client will come. The ebbs and flows. You were just saying money's tight. Dude, we're always going to go through that. There's going to be months where you're absolutely killing it, and you're like, dude, we're so far ahead when it comes to money. But then a couple things that happen, a couple clients aren't calling, a couple this, and you're like, oh, fuck. Those are the times. Those times of when the money's tight and the focusing on the lack. Sit in gratitude in those moments. I know that's a little bit crazy, but just thank God for everything you have, because you're still here. You still got all this equipment. Your wife's still good. Your kids are good. Everyone's good. Bills are paid. You're still eating. You're still got the built shirts. You're still zinning.
Yeah.
Just
icing.
Thank God.
It's all
and
icing,
then and then once you change that perspective and you say, you know what? I'm grateful for what I have regardless. All of a sudden the phone starts ringing. That one client that you were like, oh man, I forgot about that guy. That person will return. It 100% happened. I'll give you an example, because everything you just said, I was just going through as well. Still kind of going through it, but I just trust that it's coming. After like all my snowbirds are starting to go up north, and I don't have those clients now because they're leaving up north. I was looking at my weeks ahead, and I'm like, this day's a little light, that's light, this week is light. And then I remember a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, dude, you've been doing this for like 2.5 years now, or a little over, 2 years.
Wow.
And I mean, my schedule compared to last year is totally different. Like my Google Calendar is like a Christmas tree compared to what it was like last year. But I'm like, you've never had a week where it doesn't fill up.
Yeah.
Sure enough, my week's filled up
Yep.
when I thought they weren't going to. You just gotta trust that if you're a good person, you have good intentions, and you're moving forward, and you're trusting God, and you're being thankful, it's all gonna come to you. I promise.
Yeah. I think another important thing to remember, when I'm thinking like that, is that also everything is, in a good positive way, everything is my fault.
Yeah.
Right. So like if I'm a little tight financially or whatever this month, it's because I spent too much.
Yeah.
But I get both sides of it, right? You have to be mindful about where your mind is, and through being coached for the past like 8 months, I know that, your thoughts become reality,
Yeah.
and that's just the truth. So you have to be very careful with the way you think and the way you speak to yourself and the way you act, So I was feeling like that last night, and this morning I woke up before everyone else, put the noise canceling headphones on, 20-minute meditation, and just boom, just like thinking, being in gratitude, and just trying to shift my mind back into that abundant mindset where like everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which specific meditations you listen to, but when I do that, because I'll really like start to find myself in a like needing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, why am I feeling this way? Like I can't
Yeah.
shake it. And you start getting anxiety. Like for me, my reaction thing is eating. So I'll start eating.
Yeah.
And like especially on the weekends, like the wheels fall off. On
Yeah.
the
Food's a
weekends.
motherfucker.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it makes me weak. And then I'll put like a meditation on, and I'll try to be as intentional as possible. And then when those thoughts about that recurring, because we all latch onto a recurring scenario that you have, like if there's a client that you can't close and you just continually ruminate on, why didn't I do it this way? Like I have those things. Then in those meditations, I let it go. When it presents itself again, I let it go. And I'm just like, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. And I try to be intentional. And I try to just bring it to the mind or bring it to my breathing. And you come out of it fine. And, you have to just remind yourself throughout the day that everything's okay.
Yeah.
Just the same way that you remind yourself that everything's not okay, you have to do it that everything's okay too. Because we're really good at telling ourselves it's not okay. And guess
So
what
good.
that is, my friend?
What?
That's the ego.
Yeah, let's check it at the door. All right, everyone. So that gives you a great little insight on what you can expect on the podcast from Andrew and Lalo, the Leave Your Ego at the Door podcast. We thank you so much for joining us in this pilot episode, and we look forward to seeing you next time.